The rain fell with the solemnity of a funeral dirge, each droplet beating against the city's cracked sidewalks like a soft drum of inevitability. Night had swallowed Pacific City whole, and only the sickly glow of flickering neon signs kept the darkness from choking the air beneath them. The storm never stopped here. It was as if the sky was mourning something humanity had forgotten long ago. I huddled under the awning of a convenience store, late, cold, and already regretting my life choices. Behind me, the city buzzed with a million useless sounds. But beneath it all, I could feel her coming. Her presence wasn't loud. It wasn't even measurable. It was simply felt. Like someone rearranging the furniture in your subconscious. "You are late." The voice was melodic, laced with something like disappointment but sharper, cleaner. I turned, and she was already standing there, her presence a stark contrast to the earthly grime around us. Melara. She wasn't human. That was immediately obvious. Even before your mind had time to register the alien features, your nerves would tell you, this being is from elsewhere. She stood 6'2", an elegance sculpted in otherworldly geometry. Her skin shimmered with a glassy texture, like stardust frozen in transparent quartz. The undertones shifted color, fading between violet, opal, and ultraviolet blue, the spectral language of her people. Her eyes were luminous amethyst, layers of fractal light spinning slowly like galaxies trying to reorganize themselves. I cleared my throat. "Nice to see you too." She didn't blink. Her species didn't need to. We were expected at 22:15 Earth hour. "You are late, Ethan Cooper." "Traffic," I said. Unacceptable. To Melara, time wasn't a measuring stick. It was law. And punctuality was a religious obligation. Still, she only let out a thin ripple of light across her cheek, a sign of irritation or perhaps relief. I still wasn't sure. Without another word, she turned and walked in the direction of the Ishtari embassy, 4 blocks away. The world's first official alien presence on Earth. A place humanity had built for beings who neither needed nor wanted our chairs, air conditioning, or architecture. They'd modified it themselves after arrival. Now it looked more like a beautiful rift in the city's gray skin. I followed her through the rain, watching the water slide off her without ever truly touching her. It was as if she commanded reality to part around her body. No wonder the general population felt intimidated. Did something happen? I asked, quickening my pace. She didn't stop. "The council has made inquiries." Her voice was soft, yet every syllable held weight. "About me?" Her head tilted slightly, a gesture reminiscent of curiosity, or possibly mirroring. "About our progress." Progress. That word made my stomach turn. Because the Ishtari and humans were supposed to be in the biggest interspecies diplomatic negotiation of the century. And I, Ethan Cooper, was chosen as her official human liaison. But really, I was a translator. A consultant. A bridge. A babysitter. And if rumors were to be believed, a liability. When we reached the embassy, a glass monolith that for some reason still hummed with life even in the dead of night, Melara extended a hand toward a panel. It lit up with cascading glyphs in response, and the doors slid open, revealing a corridor of obsidian surfaces humming with soft energy. Inside, the air felt different. Not just cooler, but energized. Alive. I rubbed my arms to suppress an involuntary shiver. The color palette here wasn't human. It was spectral. Dominated by deep violets, soft blues, and occasional pulses of light that weren't bulbs, but thoughts, translated visually. Melara walked faster now. We reached the elevator. It hummed as we ascended, lights blinking in sequence, responding to her presence, her biometrics, her aura. 2 floors. That's all the Ishtari had claimed. And yet they'd made them larger on the inside, impossibly spacious. Doing things with matter and space that humans were still dreaming about. The elevator doors opened to silence. The hallway was empty. Quiet. Too quiet. Melara stopped halfway down the hall. Her body stilled, and the light within her dimmed, a rare sign of unease. Do not enter yet, she said. Her voice was suddenly lower. Controlled. Alert. Something wrong? I asked, stepping closer. There is turbulence. Her words were clipped. There was a hint of strain in her voice. Something cracked beneath her perfect composure. As if in response, the walls around us shimmered, waves of light rippling through the obsidian panels like oil in water. And then, something inside my skull vibrated, subtly. Then sharply. A holographic projection bloomed from the walls, full color, full form. A woman. Not human. More imposing than Melara. Robed in radiance. Eyes like twin stars burning toward collapse. This was Melara's mother. Unsul. The reigning matriarch of the Ishtari. She didn't bother with protocol. Melara, she said, her voice layered like multiple tones speaking in harmony, your progress is unsatisfactory. Melara bowed her head. Mother. Earth's treaties are fragile. The Council does not approve of delays. We follow their customs. Their bureaucracy binds us. You allowed yourself to be bound, the matriarch's projection interrupted. You were not sent to adapt. You were sent to lead. The projection dimmed. And was gone. Silence filled the space like spilled ink. Something human in me broke at the sight of Melara standing there, still tall, still composed, but wounded in a way her species didn't have words for. Our progress, I said softly. It's not. No, she cut in, her voice taut, it is more than that. She stepped back. Away from me. Not in fear. But in enforcement. Building invisible walls. Do not touch me, Ethan. That surprised me. I wasn't. I know you're kind. When one suffers, you touch. You reach. You comfort. But this, her hands glowed, fingers spread, is not permitted. Not with me. Heat rose to my face. A strange cocktail of shame, concern, and frustration. Melara, I'm not trying to. I know, she said, softer. But that warning is not for you. It is for me. I swallowed. Okay. I understand. But I didn't. Not fully. Not yet. I only knew that her barriers were not just cultural, they were survival mechanisms. She was breaking rules just by feeling anything at all in my presence. The hallway hum drifted down, settling into silence. We stood there, two beings from different universes, united by failure. She breathed, and in that breath, something cracked. It was slight. But I heard it. They are watching, she whispered. Who? Everyone. Her voice was haunted, not with fear, but with purpose. With urgency. And then, without explanation, she turned away. Her form shimmered as she approached the double doors at the end of the hall, her private chambers. She paused. Wait outside, she whispered. Until I call for you. I stood there, water still dripping from my coat, my shoes squeaking on the nano-constructed floor. For a moment, I wondered if I should say something. But then, her voice echoed softly. Ethan Cooper. The doors slid open. Enter. And I did, into whatever impossible thing came next. The doors slid open, and I stepped into the chamber of Melara, ambassador, emissary, alien, enigma. The air inside carried a current unlike anything I'd experienced. It was as though the room itself was alive, breathing. The light inside was dim but organic, like the inner glow of a deep-sea creature that had never seen the sun yet thrived beneath crushing water. The room was vast, but it bore no walls. Not in a way a human mind could fully grasp. Shapes moved where you weren't looking. Forms shimmered. I blinked, and for a moment I saw stars beyond the glass walls, not city lights, but nebulae. Melara's home. Her memory projected into physical space. She stood in the center, her posture that of carved glass in momentary suspension, but rarely had she looked so fragile, so impossibly finite. You summoned me, I said, my voice swallowed by the sound-absorbing chamber, suddenly feeling too loud. Too clumsy. Melara turned slowly, her violet eyes catching the ambient glow of the chamber, fracturing it like prisms refusing to obey the rules of this dimension. The light flickered, matching her mood. I had no choice, she said. Not accusatory. Not regretful. Just stating a fact. What's happening? I asked, stepping onto the glowing pattern beneath my feet. Circles of light radiated with every step, as if the floor read my presence, my body, my intent. The Ishtari never believed in static ground. Melara didn't answer. She held herself in a stillness that was not peace. It was restraint. A battle to contain something. The treaty will end, she said at last. Wait, what? The words hit like ice. Everything we'd worked for, everything Earth needed, everything her people needed, it was slipping. They have observed the delay. Our lack of resonance. They perceive it not as fairness, but weakness. She lifted her hand, and a hologram materialized from thin air, an ethereal sculpture of Earth, wrapped in twisting rings of violet energy. They demanded progress. And progress has been elusive. And they blame you, I said, low. Quiet. She didn't confirm it. But the light in her eyes dimmed. To fail a treaty is to fail a purpose, she said. And to fail a purpose is to be unmade. The word fell heavy. There was no poetry in it. Just truth. Melara, I stepped toward her, no longer caring about protocols or invisible walls. You're not responsible for this alone. I didn't know this was how your people. You didn't need to know. Her voice trembled. That was new. Her kind did not tremble. But you know now. The silence stretched, filled with the pulse of alien power and human dread. The hologram continued to spin, Earth turning slowly within her projection's grasp. So what do we do? I asked. She took a deep breath. One perfectly timed, yet perfectly unnecessary. Her species processed oxygen differently. That breath wasn't needed. It was a choice. We stand together, she said. Tomorrow, at dawn. Before your people, before mine. We speak. You translate not words, but intent. Emotion. Truth. You want me to support you in front of both worlds, I said. I want you to believe in me, she corrected. A sharp tremor ran through the chamber, something like the beat of a distant engine, but resonant, pulsing through the soles of my feet. Shadows rippled, the chamber shifting as if reacting to her confession. She moved then, slowly, like an ancient oracle descending into focus. She reached toward a stone lectern, except it wasn't stone, wasn't static, it was some sort of hardened plasma structure, responding to her touch. Symbols bloomed along its surface. Melara's hand hovered over it, never resting. Never fully connecting. She didn't need to touch it to interface with it. Her entire being was a key. I must show them, she said. My people judge through resonance. You judge through voice. Emotion. Sacrifice. I must bridge both, without losing either. I watched her, confused at first. Then slowly, grotesquely, it dawned on me. Her atmosphere wasn't just emotional. It was lethal. She was a being of light and vibration. If she truly connected, physically, if she let herself open, it could destroy her. It wasn't a ceremonial barrier she upheld. It was survival. And she was asking me to be the bridge. Without asking for sacrifice. Without demanding. Just hoping. Why me? I asked, voice scraping. She stepped closer. Because you listen. And I stood there, struck dumb by those three simple words. The chamber swirled around us, walls warping into starfields one moment, then blending into soft, pulsing clouds of ethereal blue. The light embraced her, but it didn't consume her, she controlled it. I'd never seen anything so lonely and so powerful. Your people believe they are being observed for weakness, she continued. but it is they who observe. And they will judge me by what I let them see. And what happens if they don't believe you? She turned her back to the projected Earth hologram. Her silhouette darkened. They will burn the bridge. And I will be removed. My entire line purged from the eternity of the archive. I swallowed hard. Melara, tell me what to do. She turned back around slowly. Carefully. Every movement deliberate. Do nothing except stand beside me. When the moment comes, you will speak. But not for me. For us. All right, I said. She inhaled, violet light shimmering through her skin like embers of a dying sun struggling to relight. And Ethan, she said softly. Yeah? Earlier, when I warned you. Not to touch your butt? I finished, a half-smile tugging at my lips. The timing was absurdly human. And yet it felt right. She paused. Then something in her face softened. Vulnerability shimmered, not as weakness but as an offering. That warning was for myself, she said. Not you. I nodded, heart thudding in my chest. We stayed like that, facing each other in the center of that impossible room until the chamber lights dimmed to the faintest starlit glow. The hologram dissolved. The atmosphere steadied. And Melara stepped back, her posture flowing back into its perfect, graceful shape. You should go now, she said. I'll be here tomorrow, I replied, stepping toward the exit. I know, she whispered. The doors slid open behind me. Air from the hallway rushed in, colder, emptier. As they sealed shut, I stood there, understanding something new. Not about her, but about us. She had invited me into her chamber. No touch. No warmth. And yet it was as intimate as any human moment I'd ever known. Dawn was coming. And with it, the truth.